chapter 26, verse 41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation.
Into what?
Temptation.
That's the temptation that we're in when we battling this flesh. Who's behind the temptation? Satan. This is his job. He's behind the temptation. Read that from the top again.
Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing.
Because Christ is telling us that it's a tempter that y'all don't see. That's putting you in these situations. So do what? From the top again.
Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation.
That don't you enter in through that door of temptation. Don't go that way. That's what Christ is saying. Watch and pray that you don't go down that path that Satan is tempting you in. So let's get started with Sirach, chapter 36, verse 8.
The book of Sirach, chapter 36, verse 8. Make the time short. Remember.
Jump up to 6.
Verse 6. Show new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works.
We seeing the Lord's wondrous works. We seeing these prophecies come to pass. We seeing all these things that the Lord said he was going to do from the beginning. Like he said, what did he say? He said, I would do all my pleasure. The Lord is allowing his words, which is the Bible, these prophecies to come to pass. And we're watching it before our eyes. We're watching these things happen. Read on.
Raise up indignation and pour out wrath.
Take
away the adversary and destroy the enemy.
And we seeing these things. We seeing how he said he was going to set it in motion. He said he's going to cause that. He's going to muster up the battle. He's going to instigate this thing. So we watching the Lord do what he told us he was going to do. And that's supposed to be sealing our faith. Read on.
Make the time short. Remember the covenant.
And what did the Lord say?
Make the time short. Remember the covenant. And let them declare thy wonderful works.
He said, make the time short. So, just like I just mentioned, this week went by fast, and the week before that went by fast. This year went by fast. I mean, last year. We already to the new year. Last year went by fast.
Man, we already almost in March.
Almost in March. It's starting to get warm out here. But the Lord said, he said, make the time short. The Lord is speeding up the time. And those of us that old enough to remember, you notice the difference. Can y'all feel the vibration, how quick the weeks and the years are going by now?
That's right, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
If you're old enough to remember back, it seemed like everything just dragged. But that school year just dragged by. Y'all remember that?
You be outside all day, and it feel like all day. Now it's like
you're right. You just had all the time in the world to just stay out there and play.
Yeah, an hour feel like what 30 minutes or
Man, you don't know. You ain't old enough.
No, you ain't old enough.
Hey, but Officer, if I may,
yes,
because the statement that you made was heavy. Because you said initially in the beginning, we tend to forget that. Okay, we know we're Israel, right? We throw the fringes on and stuff, but we forget that there's still a battle that we're fighting to win in order to get to the kingdom. Like, you know the goal, but you still have to go through the process. Let me get James chapter 4, verse 1, if I might.
Bring it out.
Did you have this?
No.
Okay.
If I got it, I'll read it again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
James chapter 4, verse 1. From whence come wars and fightings among you?
So he's not talking, as he's saying this, James ain't saying that this war is outside. He's saying among you. Read on.
Come they not hence, even of your lusts?
Of what?
Of your lusts?
So he's saying there's going to be a battle that deals specifically with your lust. You know your lust. Everybody don't know, we don't know the depths of some people's minds, but he says you know your lust. Go ahead.
That war in your members?
So that's what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. That fighting of the flesh is the war within your members. That fight between the battle of your spirit and your flesh. Mm-hmm. James said it's there. Go ahead, officer.
Yes, sir. And once we realize that's what life is all about, then I think we'll start to improve our lives a little bit more. We can press toward that mark. Once we realize what life is about, it's this battle. From Adam, now we understand, and it's a battle to get the kingdom between your inward man, which is your spiritual man, and that flesh, that sinful man. And we have to. And let me say this real quick. Like this, we always go in on the thumbnail about how because the enemy controls the narrative,
right?
Okay, and have power over this world, power over us, and so they able to paint this picture of us, wanting better for our people, want our people to be a righteous people like God created them to be, and they create this narrative of us being evil, or we the hate group. So we have to bring this out all the time, but that's because they understand that we are doing what God created us to do to get our people's spirits in subjection from the flesh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's why we always have to bring this out when it comes to this disclaimer about because they want to control the narrative. They don't want us to fix our people.
No.
They rule through sin. Y'all want to say something?
That's in Ecclesiastes 4 when it says on the oppressor side there was no power. Mm-hmm. There was power. Excuse me. On the can you read that? Ecclesiastes 4:1. Just that real quick. This is what Officer Yekiel is saying. There's power with the oppressor. That's why he's able to make mediums. We remember Cap Gedaliah was going over that last week. He's a demon. He is a mediator between Satan and everything else. And watch this. Read this.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 1. So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun.
We are part of that. We're living this verse. We are part of those oppressions that are done. We are oppressed. Read.
And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed.
We're the ones that's crying, no justice, no peace. The brother who made that slogan popular, Jesse Jackson, just died. Mm-hmm. He just died. But he was fighting for the people. Read on.
And they had no comforter.
Read on.
And on the side of their oppressors,
on the white man, the oppressor, go ahead.
There was power.
There's what?
Power.
There's what?
Power.
Power. Who gave the white man power? The dragon, which is the devil. Read on.
But they had no comforter.
Meaning they're not going to get Christ. We got Christ. They will never get Christ. They will never be resurrected. Only us.
That's heavy. All praise to the Most High. Now let's get the thumbnail. Let's go into the title.
For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not.
Mm-hmm. Woo, that's a tongue twister right there.
Yeah. I like how they came up with it. To the left, you got, that was us. Mm-hmm. That was us in the world. Right. And then you look up to the right, that's us now.
That's reformation, mm-hmm. Reforming.
Mm-hmm. And that's also us in the middle. Some of brothers. We fighting both sides.
Mm-hmm. Right. Lukewarm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's go into it. Romans chapter 7, verse 15.
Romans chapter 7, verse 15. Mm-hmm. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not.
Paul said, for that which I do, I allow not. Read on.
For what I would, that do I not.
What I should do, that do I not. What is it that Paul should do? Paul should be keeping the commandments of God. He that's what Paul was speaking on. What I would do or should do. I should be keeping God's laws. I shouldn't be having these thoughts I'm having. I shouldn't be fulfilling my lusts. I shouldn't be doing that. Read on.
But what I hate, that do I.
But what he hate is the sin. the sin, the things that he shouldn't be doing, that is what he hates. But sometimes we find ourselves still giving in to our lust. Even in the body. Even in the body, we still give into our lust and committing adulteries, fornication, stealing, thievery. Yep. These things still going on with us in the body. So we have to realize Paul was a righteous man. He was chosen by Christ. He's speaking about himself. He went through these things. So how we feel like we not going to be battling just like Paul battled. This life is a battle. But you got to learn how to suppress that spirit. Read it from the top again.
For that which I do.
Hey, an officer, when it's saying that which I do, remember, that's the spirit speaking. Yep. That's the spirit of Paul speaking. Read that again.
For that which I do.
The I is the spirit. The I, the spirit, wants to connect to God. That's the spirit that wants to do right by God. Read on.
I allow not.
But it's saying there's something that is not allowing me to do that. Go ahead.
For what I would.
For what I want to keep the commandments, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to commit fornication. Right. I don't want to commit adultery. I don't want to do that. Go ahead.
That do I not.
Go ahead.
But what I hate.
But the spirit hates sin. Mm-hmm. It hates it. Go ahead.
That do I.
But the flesh said, no. Mm-hmm. I do that.
Right. And so then you find yourself going over to the sister's house.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, y'all sitting in the car. You bring some food.
Yeah.
Some dilly burgers.
No. Whatever the case may be, you know. Yeah. And then, next thing you know, you committed fornication. That's the point. Because that spiritual man knows I ain't got no business doing this. That spiritual man knows that this is wrong. So I'm telling them the whole time, the whole time that I'm supposed to be doing this. But read it from the top again.
For that which I do, I allow not.
Uh-huh.
For what I would, that do I not.
What I should do is be patient and wait. Mm-hmm. That's what you should do. But what?
But what I hate, that do I.
But what I hate, meaning going against the rules and the order of the leadership, that do I. That's what you do.
So also we know Paul dealt with lust. So Paul was what, talking about R. Kelly before it was R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? He's saying my mind is telling me no,
right.
But my body's telling me.
right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what he's saying.
Verse 16. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good.
He said, if then I do that which I should not, I do what?
I consent unto the law that it is good.
That's where you use the law to know from right from wrong. Read on.
Now then, it is no more I that do it.
So like also Eli said, this is the Spirit speaking. He said, no, then it is no more I that do it, but what?
But sin that dwelleth in me.
It's this sin that's in. Where's the sin in? It's not in the spiritual man. It's in this carnal man, this flesh.
Right.
That's what the sin is. It dwelleth in me because this is a sinful creature. This flesh is sinful. It's a fight going against this flesh. Sometimes you just be sitting down thinking, and sometimes you might get a wicked thought.
Right.
Give me that. Matter of fact, back it up. Matthew's 7. Mark 7:21.
Mark chapter 7 verse 21. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts.
From the heart, from the mind of men, proceed evil thoughts. Now, he's going to go into what those thoughts are that we have. Somebody said, no, I don't think like that. Well, the Bible said you do. Read it.
Adulteries.
So we think about adulteries. Wicked as hell. brothers and sisters think about adulteries, meaning they think about sleeping with somebody else's wife, or a sister might be thinking about sleeping with a married man. Fornication. That's all over. Even in the body, we are having fornications. Read.
Murders.
Hatred. It ain't necessarily all got to be killing somebody. Sometimes it could be hatred for a brother or a sister. Go ahead.
Thefts. Covetousness. Wickedness. Deceit. Lasciviousness.
Deceit. Lying. Because deceit and lying go together. Read that.
Deceit. Lasciviousness.
That's what we're reading about. That's what Paul dealt with.
Hey.
Lasciviousness.
And remember, we pulled up that you remember you pulled up what was the OnlyFans thing?
Hey, I don't.
Hey, nah, hey, because the thing is that we assume that brothers in Israel ain't on that. Brothers in Israel be on that OnlyFans.
Yeah.
That what was the number? Pull up the number.
You pulling the covers back on.
Hey, pull the covers back. So you think, like you mentioned earlier, they know that us being in sin keeps us disconnected from God. So if that's the case, you think that this particular man right here, you think that all of these, no, get the number of the U.S., how much the U.S., you think all of the numbers of the U.S. that are on OnlyFans are just people in the world?
Right.
Yep. You're saying Christ is talking about brothers and sisters that know the commandments.
Exactly.
He's telling this to brothers and sisters that know the commandments.
Right. Because that's what we got to. That's what. Not to cut you off.
Yes, sir.
What we had to realize is these were people that they were dealing with that was in the Bible, repentant people that was under the laws. So when we reading these things, he wasn't speaking to the people that were without. There was the letters to people that was in the congregation. Go ahead.
So read that also, like him.
Studies indicate that a significant majority, approximately 89 to 90% of OnlyFans subscribers are married men. Research suggests these users are typically not single, but rather in relationships with a demographic profile that is largely white, heterosexual, or bisexual.
So we get that it's largely white. That doesn't alleviate the fact that you're going to have brothers that's on these sites. Because when you think about it, we might deal with a single brother, say, hey, I'm struggling with porn or whatever. What is OnlyFans?
Porn.
That's porn.
You ask a brother. He on OnlyFans. You ask him, do you look at
but
porn?
we don't never say, hey, you on OnlyFans? We don't never ask that question.
You watch porn?
Because with brothers, you got to ask the question specifically to get a specific.
Yeah, because they ain't gonna tell you. You thinking they on the free sites? No, brothers is paying premium.
Hey man, that's crazy because that stuff come up to your credit card statement. That's on your statement. It says whatever money.
Hey, if a brother can wear fringes and go and buy a prostitute,
damn.
What's the difference between him being in the house with his fringes on, watching a prostitute on his, whatever size screen, 16 by 9, whatever the case may be? What's the difference?
There is no difference.
Damn.
There is no difference.
Can I get a verse?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go to 1 John 2:15, because Officer Yikiel says sometimes you may have these thoughts like where that come from. It come from this 1 John 2:15.
1 John chapter 2 verse 15. Love not the world.
That's where the thoughts are coming from. They come from the world. Whether that's social media, whether that's you walking outside, you in the mall, whatever, those thoughts come from what we're watching. Go ahead.
Neither the things that are in the world.
Read on.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not
Verse
in
16.
him. Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
The lust of the flesh, that's what we're battling. It came from the world. Read on.
And the lust of the eyes.
That's the point. What we're watching is messing with our eyes. Because what is the eyes connected to? The brain.
Okay.
The eyes, the matrix to the soul. Y'all understand, brother? So that's saying that when we're looking at stuff, it may not hit you then, but creep into your subconscious. So you be like, damn, why the hell did I think of big booty? You know, because you saw it.
Right.
Now it's in your thoughts. So it's called psychodynamics. That's what it's called. My bad, brother. That's
No, I'm gonna give it right. Matthew 5, just to go to his point. Matthew 5, because Christ gave us. Because back then, you know, you might have looked on a woman and lust, but in your mind you said, well, I ain't sleep with her, so I'm not committing adultery. But Christ said, no. It starts with, as you stated, Officer Liam, it starts with that gateway. That gateway filters into, now you're going, that enticement, you're going to feed it, right? Read.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her.
That comes from the eyesight. You can't look on a woman with your eyes closed. So he's saying the looking comes, that's the key.
Yeah,
that's the start. What you saw. Go ahead.
Have committed adultery with her already in his heart.
Because the only thing that comes after that is to feed it. That's the only thing that's going to come after.
Meaning, if you're looking at a sister in the world and you're thinking of 10 to 15 positions to put her in, that's adultery. That's what Christ is saying. Because you can see a pretty sister, that's fine. Oh, she's pretty. You keep it moving. But once you start meditating and analyzing and visualizing, neighbors know my neighbors know my name. I heard a song like that.
I know
but the brother, you're thinking about it. Damn, man, we gotta get out of here.
Hey, go ahead, Officer Liam. Young.
But you know, earlier, also then brought the scripture about how our minds is on the world. We grew up, you know what I'm saying, here in spiritual Egypt, right? That's what this place is. So when we were in slavery in Egypt, what were we doing? We were doing all types of noise, crazy stuff, which you see that's here today in America. That's another reason why this place is called spiritual Egypt. Can I get something real quick? Give me Deuteronomy. Moses knew the mindset of our people. And when our people come into the body and they're trying to repent and change their life, we have to know the mindset, because guess what? We were out there too. And some of us still, people still battle with things here and there. But go ahead.
Deuteronomy 31 and verse 27. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I'm yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious against the Lord, and how much more after my death?
So Moses saying, look, since I've been alive, you've been rebellious against the Lord. So how much rebellion are you going to be after my death? Because what was Moses doing? Moses was being a leader to them, giving them God's law, statutes, and commandments, telling them how they should move as Israelites. Jump down to verse 29.
Verse 29, for I know that after my death, you will utterly corrupt yourselves.
He said, I know that you're going to utterly corrupt yourselves. So a lot of times when our people come into the body and the leaders are trying to help guide them and show them the way according to the Bible, we know at some point in time that brothers are going to they're going to end up corrupting themselves. They're going to fall back into the things that they were doing in the world, because that's where their mindset is. Read.
And turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. And evil will befall you in the latter days, because you will do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands.
Through the work of your hands. I know we're talking about OnlyFans, but guess what? but look, that's part of literally the work of your hands. You know what I'm saying? Our people are going to be continually doing evil. Can I get one more real quick?
Tobit chapter 12 and verse 10. But they that sin are enemies to their own life.
So it said, they that sin are enemies to your own life. Remember, Moses said, I set before you life and death, right? I set before you the laws. So you're either going to keep God's laws or you're not going to keep them. When we come in here, that's the same thing the leadership tells us, and the brothers and sisters here. Look, you're going to keep the laws or you're not going to keep them. But a lot of times we fall into sin and we become enemies to our own life. We don't know where our mercy is at. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us, we continue to play games out here.
I want to back you up with something like you said, also Eli. You were saying how you looking upon a woman. Get that in the second Samuel 11 and 1. Give you an example.
That's my book. That's our book.
Just to back you up on that.
2 Samuel chapter 11 verse 1.
So we're gonna see an example of lusting after a woman and what it conceived into. We don't.
And it came to pass, after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon, and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem.
Read on.
And it came to pass in an eventide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon.
Remember, that's basically what we read in Matthew. He said this woman was very beautiful to look upon, meaning that's what his mindset was at. Read on.
And David sent and inquired after the woman.
So this comes afterwards. That's why Christ said, when you look upon it, because you're going to bring that thing into fruition.
And it wasn't that type of look like you said where you like, oh, damn. You know what I'm saying? Because it says she's washing herself. So David looking, he's like, oh.
What we got here?
He got some live action pornography.
Right. He says she is rather nice. She healthy.
While his men out there besieging Rabbah, he's talking about thinking about besieging another man's wife, Bathsheba.
Damn. So he like, she see me watching her. She ain't gonna. Oh, okay.
She ain't gonna cover herself.
She ain't gonna cover up? Oh, okay.
Why would you be bathing within plain view of a building that's higher than yours, knowing that you're completely naked with an open?
We got to stick to David.
But I'm saying, for David to see that, his mind didn't go, why would she be doing that? His mind went,
she
But you know, officer, sometimes when you read scripture, they did bathe outside, though.
Yeah.
You know,
remember vitamin D.
Yes, the sun.
She did.
The sun.
The sun. I literally mean this.
I know. You remember the two elders? They saw Susanna the same way, but they was outside. Remember, so yeah.
She did it below somebody else's house.
Go ahead, officer.
Finish.
Yes, sir. Verse 3. And David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, is not this Bathsheba?
So he sent for her. Read on.
The daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah.
They tried to tell him who she was, but read on.
The Hittite. And David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house.
Meaning that's the adultery that took place. That's what Christ was saying. You look upon her to lust after her, then you have committed adultery already. You want to say something? You want to say something?
No. Officer, you made a good point. They tried to tell her who she was. You know, that's such and such. You know, come on, Dave.
what you doing, man?
Right. You know, because that's brothers. That's a lustful spirit right there for you to. You married already. This is during the time of multiple wives.
But the
you know
thing is, David has fringes. He knows the law. So that's the point that we're making, is that we tend sometimes to we'll look at the things of the world and we'll have this abstract view of it as if we, like you said, we didn't come from. No, we're susceptible to these things because that's where we came from. So what you bringing out, officer, is, hey, how do you like the Lord said to David, I would have given you more wives. You know, I would have given you more wives, but David, he wanted, you know, he saw with his lust.
He wanted what he saw.
He wanted what he saw. You know what I'm saying? Even after he was given the Inquisition, hey, this is such and such wife. This was, you're talking about Uriah was a mighty man. He's on the list of mighty men. David didn't have too many men around him. He had those core brothers. So it's not like he didn't know who he was.
It's just the demon. The demon was on him.
Yeah. Once that lust demon kicked in, that was it.
It was Satan.
Can I add to your point?
Go ahead.
So now think about this. So we read that and we know the story of it. Now let's go to Numbers chapter 5. So Numbers chapter 5 now explains what could happen. Now this is Israel. We're talking about Israel. They just came out. They're getting the commandments. Numbers chapter 5. We're gonna go through real quick. Start at verse 12.
Numbers chapter 5, verse 12. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, if any man's wife go aside and commit a trespass against him.
So, you know what's heavy about this is because you have now, you know, with DNA testing, you're finding that you have men who have taken care of children that's not theirs for years.
Damn.
For years. You thinking this woman has never done anything. But read it again.
Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, if any man's wife go aside and commit a trespass against him, and a man lie with her carnally, and it be hid from the eyes of her husband.
That means that could happen, right? Because we always tend to think, not my wife. No, the Lord said it's going to be hid from her husband. He ain't gonna know. Look, brothers, look at that. Brothers probably texting their ribs right now.
Not me.
Read on.
And be kept close, and she be defiled.
It said be kept close, meaning she's holding that lie in. She kept that close to the chest. Read on.
And there be no witness against her, neither.
Nobody knows. Why? Women don't tell.
Right, right.
They can hide better than brothers.
It's not that they hide better than brothers. It's that if this brother is beating the doonies downs of this woman, right, and she don't belong to him, he's not going to say nothing.
Right.
Women that cheat with a man that's already with somebody get jealous. And then what they do is they end up telling on that man. They end up leaving little signs for that man to get caught.
Right.
It's not that
I
they're
know what you're saying. More deceit. They're very clever and cunning.
it's not that they're smarter. It's just that
wise to do evil.
Yeah, they're wise to do evil. It says the wickedness of a woman, is above all. Read on.
Neither she be taken with the manner. And the spirit of jealousy come upon him.
So I'm just showing you that sometimes it's like the Lord in this chapter had to show the divine intervention had to come forth to prove that your wife was cheating.
Yeah.
Divine. Now they got DNA tests and so forth and so on, but it goes to show you that these things can happen. This woman knew the commandments. Bathsheba knew the commandments. But yet David had her husband killed and so forth and so on. Do you think she was going to come forth and keep that? No, she went to David and said, "Oh, I'm pregnant." You understand?
Can't hide that but for so long.
Yeah.
But back to that point, right? There's so many points, like you were saying, the mindset, the demon. As we all understand, being in the flesh, what type of temptation because that's what it is, brother. They open a window. You know, he said he was on the roof, right? But a window, like on a computer, is a window as well. What is it? It's a woman, the lust. But like you were saying, there's so many points of failure. There's so many points to turn around and say, all right, I'm going to cut it off here. The visual one, he saw. But he didn't say, oh, no, I'm going to look away. He didn't seek a solution. Then he inquired about the woman.
He used his rank.
He feeding.
He did what?
He used his rank to do that.
Yeah,
rank.
He fed. He fed it.
You be over departments and you could get sisters. That's what he did.
Damn.
He going heavy.
Damn.
He going heavy.
In the spirit over here.
I'm sorry.
Then he inquired about her, and they said, she's a married woman, the wife of
Or
one
leave
of
her
your best
alone.
friends.
Yeah.
Or leave her alone.
Yeah.
Because look, most men, if you see a naked sister and the scribes wrote that she was beautiful, any man is going to be messed up over like, what the hell was that? I'll call over. He's like, I saw some madness, man.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about it.
Yeah.
Some nasty
I saw
work.
some madness, man. But you got to fight that thing. You got to call somebody in that moment.
Right. And
You know?
even, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And even though she was, you said it was the time of multiple wives, right? I would have given you, okay, but what
I
was
ain't
your
say
first?
that.
I said that was during that time.
It was during the time, but what was her first encounter of seeing her sister?
Yeah.
He saw her naked. It wasn't because of her works. It wasn't because she was like, had a great reputation. He saw her naked and wanted that. It wasn't, okay, I'm going to get my second because she's a great woman. And
He
she's
saw
a
the
great
curves
person.
and everything.
He saw body
saw
on.
them
Then
soap
there was another
suds.
point of failure.
Yeah.
When she got there, he still could have turned. All right, look, all right, let me get back in the spirit.
But
She arrived.
But you know what? And David was a mighty man.
Right.
So, we can, what I mean? If we ain't putting that flesh in subjection, we can fall. It don't have to happen in that particular way.
Right,
But, we can find ourselves in that situation as well. You know, because we still battling like David was battling. Let's go back to Romans.
Yes, sir.
What we leave off at?
16. Romans chapter 7, verse 16. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good.
Read.
Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
It ain't I. It's not that righteous man, that righteous spirit in you that do it, but it's sin that dwelleth in me, that flesh, that carnal man. We got to realize how strong that evil is. You can know what to do and still don't do it. You know what I mean? Yep. You know it's wrong as hell, but you find yourself, it's like a magnet pulling you.
What Bishop said is, once Satan got the wheel, he got you in the trunk. He got the spirit, the spirit in the trunk, tied up, you know, bonded down, and then Satan just driving, and you don't realize Satan is driving until you hit a brick wall, and then he hop out the car, and then
toss you out.
Yeah. Now you sitting over there like, what the hell happened?
So you're not gonna take the car?
Right.
It's your car.
Drive.
I'm going this way. What we leave out? 18.
Yes, sir. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing.
So Paul said it. Ain't no good thing in this flesh. Ain't nothing good about this flesh. Read.
For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not.
We find ourselves on the other side of the coin. The wicked, doing the wickedness that we know we ain't got no business doing. Read.
For the good that I would, I do not.
And he's just repeating himself again from verse 15 to 16. He said what?
For the good that I would, I do not.
For the good that I should do, I allow not. Hello, read it from the top again.
For the good that I would, I do not.
Uh-huh.
But the evil which I would not, that I do.
That we find ourselves doing when we in the body, and we speaking about the body. We ain't talking about the people without. We talking about the people that is in the body that watching the classes, congregating, getting this word, but they still find themselves for the good that they want to do, they do not. But the evil that was in them, that which they do. And this is going on in the body, all over. Read on.
Now, if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
That sinful man, that flesh. Go to Matthew 26 and 41. Because Christ, he kind of broke it down.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation.
Into what?
Temptation.
That's the temptation that we're in when we battling this flesh. Who's behind the temptation? Satan. This is his job. He's behind the temptation. Read that from the top again.
Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing.
Because Christ is telling us that it's a tempter that y'all don't see. That's putting you in these situations. So do what? From the top again.
Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation.
That don't you enter in through that door of temptation. Don't go that way. That's what Christ is saying. Watch and pray that you don't go down that path that Satan is tempting you in. Because when you get around it and look at it from a spiritual view, then you will see who's behind it. You'll see who's behind the author of this temptation.
But this thing's like I think Officer Eliakim was making a point that the fail safes would be there. The different things, the ways, like it says in Corinthians, the ways to escape would be there, and you would just bypass all of the firewalls that's going up, whether that be leadership, whether that be counsel, whether that be a sister or a brother that might be telling you, hey, that's not a good idea. You know what I'm saying?
You go around, like you said, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. I don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
But go to Luke 22. This goes to what Officer Yigio just said. Luke 22, verse 31. Because Christ mentioned this when it came to Peter, but this applies to all of us. Read.
Luke chapter 22, verse 31. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon.
So if you take Peter's name out and put your name, because that's one of the things Bishop and them say, put yourself in there.
Right.
You got to take Peter's name out. If you leave Peter's name in there, it's just a story. But if it says Liam, go ahead.
Behold, Satan hath desired. Behold, Satan hath desired to have you.
It's more real. It makes more sense to you. Satan desires to have you. Go ahead.
That he may sift you as wheat.
Read.
But I have prayed for thee.
So we don't realize that the prayers of the righteous availeth much.
Right.
We really don't realize that. Read on.
Pray for brothers.
That thy faith fail not.
Proverbs 24:10. If thou faint in the day of adversity.
That's when you're going through something. That's when all of those firewalls are up. It says you faint. Go ahead.
In the day of adversity, thy strength is small.
Your faith is weak. But that's what Christ is telling Peter. Go back to what Christ said.
Luke chapter 22, verse 32. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not.
Do not faint in the day of adversity. Go ahead.
And when thou art converted.
Meaning it's a process. We come into the gospel, we come into the truth, and we just automatically think that we're converted because we're keeping the Sabbath. Mm-hmm. Because we throw some fringes on some clothes. You're not converted yet. That's a process. Go ahead.
Strengthen thy brethren.
He's telling Peter, once you get to that point, then you're able to pour into something else, pour into somebody else.